feel I grew up with a train passing every 9 minutes out in New Mexico. That's how Martini Meditations came to existence. I wanted to board that train and go to wherever it was going because it was a lot better than where I was at. You know, every 9 minutes, my dream was re-engaged. You must leave, Santiago. Anyway, what happened was when we gave the afternoon talk that afternoon, guess what happened? This is unbelievable. Over 15,000 people came. There was nobody with guns. There was nobody with drugs. Over 15,000 people came. And they were holding babies, and they were with grandmas. They had old grandmas at the book table loading up boxes with books, and little tiny granddaughters and grandsons saying, "That one, Grandma. Abuelita, that one, that one, that one." And Grandma was like, "I can't carry it." "Well, get them, come on." And there was all these people towing boxes of books to their cars. It was like, yeah, that's why it came out. So it was extraordinary. And then, it's just amazing. So just let me get on with this. I'll read a little bit here. This one here. This one is, okay. This book, it's about the field workers, and, the woman gets murdered. The singer, she's a singer in all the bars. She works in the daytime in the fields, and she works at night singing. This guy kills her, and he kills her, and she has a son named Lorenzo, and Lorenzo's now a grown man, and he's going with this woman named Carmen. Carmen reminds him of his mother a lot, and he's in a warehouse right now packing chili boxes, and he's waiting for Carmen to come, okay? And his mother's been murdered already in the other chapters. So, October 2007. While he waited for Carmen to arrive at the warehouse, Lorenzo decided to pack some chili. The conveyor belt looped in and out of the blemish stations, then the spray station, and then carried the chili to the end where workers alongside the belt plucked and packed. It was at this time of the evening, 7-ish, that his mother used to bring him to the warehouse to pack, and the resinous fragrance of the chili brought back memories that made him forget Carmen was late. He missed his mother and recalled that she used to say how nice and soft the tortilla dough felt in her palms, drawing out the aches from her fingers. He'd seen the scarred claws of other workers, the blistered husk of whatever you want to call what passed for human hands. And every part of the body bore the mark of excessive work, even dreams. He'd often hear his father mutter in his sleep as if fighting somebody, whimpering from pain, hurrying from the rows to the sheds, his knees swollen with arthritis. Now he just grunted. His mother, however, used to tell him she came up with songs while rolling and kneading dough. The constant rhythm of rolling and squeezing gave her lyrics a soft roll. Tortilla dreams, she used to call her songs. There was another part of his mother that few knew about. When she got up and dressed before the sun rose, when the trucks came into camp to load up the workers, he noted how she listened to their voices with sorrow. When he looked at her sitting in the far back of the truck, he saw how she loathed the chili fields, and he saw how after each day she vigorously scrubbed at the dirt in the day's dried sweat that coated her body. There was no such thing as promotion or high position in the camp. You might have a different title, but everyone had to work in the fields. His mother sometimes stared with envy and resentment at the motorists pulling up at the stands at the end of the dirt road. Women from Las Cruces and El Paso wearing flowing Spanish pleated hemskirts, white blouses, and sunbonnets sat in their cars while the workers loaded their trunks with melons, chili, squash, and garlic. He knew the woman part of her female desire in the way she sprinkled water in the flour on the cutting board. He saw how while the neighbors chatted in the kitchen, she would drift into a reverie while flattening the dough smooth, flipping it back and forth between her hands and placing it on the comal. Standing at the front door behind the screen facing the compound and the fields, she imagined leaving the camp with Casimiro, her husband, and going to Chicago, where her singing career could flourish. Lorenzo could tell she'd been trapped. Casimiro loved her, and she could never leave him. Yet, when she scanned the labor camp, a deep loathing suffocated her. She'd seen too much of it, smelled too much of it, and she had to fight off the terrible thoughts that crept into her heart, thoughts of packing up and leaving. Especially when those cowboys came in with traders to pick up hay, they looked at her in such a way that their eyes followed her into her bed. Once a month on the weekends, she would join the other camp women going into town for groceries. She would walk the aisles. Walking the aisles, she studied the women, strangers with unhappy faces, dyed and styled haircuts, fat and thin, pale creatures in workout clothes, lives seemingly as neat as stainless steel forks lined in the silverware drawer. She was invisible to them. She learned a long time ago to avoid eyes, to never complain, to conduct herself in public as a prisoner of war. After shopping, the women would go back to their little private secure worlds, and she would return to the flat iron plate on the wood stove, to sprinkling the exact amount of flour on the cutting board, to powdering the dough ball, kneading it round. Fear coiled in the pit of her stomach, fear for her future of growing prematurely old. Fear worked into her eyes, fingertips, ears, and legs, rattling a warming of weariness at vehicles in the distance, raising a cloud of dust down the road. She'd wrap the stack of tortillas in a towel to keep them warm, and then, hiding behind them, she'd make her way to the baptism or the wedding or the funeral, the party or the communal meeting. And when Monday came, she'd give the grower her labor, her pride, her sweat, until nothing was left, but never respect. Now, this is her speaking. This is her voice speaking. She's become a character. And this is her last thought before she was murdered. You know, I thought about that a long time. I thought, what would be this woman's last thought? She had a great career as a singer. She was almost as famous as most of the chavelas from Mexico. She was a very famous singer. What would be her last thought? So, this is what she says. By the way, I went through this 41 times, trying to find out who this person was. I didn't know if it was a male or a female. But I went through it 41 drafts until one morning I wrote this piece and I thought, I finally found you. In the ethereal world of spirits, I finally got her to come out. And she was amazing throughout the book. She just got stronger and stronger.